A major challenge around remote working, particularly if you're not used to it, is managing really good mental health and staying motivated. I think a lot of people are quite excited at the start about the idea of working from home, but over time you start to realise that it can be really hard to connect if you don't make a concerted effort to do so. So watch the video I recorded in the remote working series about connection, first of all on that particular point, and make sure you've got enough going on in your life to stay connected to the company culture, to your colleagues, but also to friends and family and everything else that might involve. But that's a really important one for mental health, so go back, watch that video. The second thing for managing mental health and motivation is movement. I also talked about that in a previous video. It's crucial. Movement, what was designed to do, it releases hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, things that make us feel good. So movement is going to be absolutely crucial, and there's loads of content in this wellbeing portal all around movement. A slightly newer idea is positivity pauses. I think it's super important to pause every now and again and try and make sure we think about positive thoughts. When it comes to managing mental health, you're perhaps faced with a lack of connection, your ability to move is slightly impaired because you may be homebound or certainly desk-bound doing virtual meetings, phone calls and so on. So positivity pauses. Maybe you have something on the wall that reminds you of something that lights you up, whether it's animals or a scene of you with your family or a beach scene or a picture of somewhere beautiful. We have just over here photographs of all the endurance events that we've done. So if I'm looking for a positivity pause, I can just look over there and see, oh yeah, that's when we ran the marathon, that's when we did the Arctic Circle race, that's when we did something else. And that's a positive, uplifting thought. And it has a physiological effect on the brain and the body. So when you think positively, you generate these different hormones and neurotransmitters that make you feel good. So it's really important, I think, to put these pauses in. They could be something that you do yourself, or they could be something you share with somebody else, or you have a little group huddle in the morning where you talk about something positive. All our team meetings, which have always been virtual, start with a highlight of the weekend. So we'll give one thing that we really enjoyed over the weekend, just to set the tone of that meeting positively, even if we have some really thorny stuff to deal with. And the last thing is connected with that. I would urge you to consider a news ban, or certainly a news curfew, or ration the amount of news that you consume. No matter what the times are, there is often a lot of negativity in the news, and I find if you follow a lot of news, it can be really hard to manage good mental health and stay upbeat when you just think about all the bad stuff that's happening in the world. And about 4 years ago, I had a total news ban. So I didn't consume any news apart from the stuff I accidentally stumbled across on my Facebook or Twitter feed, for example, all things that people told me. So I had some awareness of what was going on in the world, but I wasn't constantly bombarded with breaking news updates and negativity all the time. And at time of recording, during the COVID-19 outbreak, we need to ration the amount of news we're being exposed to. And certainly not watching it just prior to bed, for example, in the 10 o'clock news, but maybe have one or two trusted news sources that you check in on, maybe at the beginning and towards the end of the afternoon. So that's a very personal thing, whether or not you choose to watch the news is entirely your call. But when we're talking about managing mental health, when we're self-isolating or cut off or working remotely, whether it's on a temporary or full-time basis, managing what you're exposed to in terms of positivity and negativity is super, super important. So good luck.